on YouTube. All right. Yes, we are live. It went to the wrong. It went to the wrong one that I had set up. So hopefully people see that it's on this one. Hoping. There we are. Yes, the live did switch, Josh. I do apologize. I don't know what happened. I think because that when I had to reschedule the the live stream from last time, maybe something there got screwed up. But hello, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. And we are here for one reason and one reason only. I want to introduce you to an author who made me fall in love with fantasy that much more. It is author L. N. Holmes.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm on the book lounge. Yay!
Yes, this has been a long time coming.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you for joining that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for
Josh said,
inviting me.
no problem, of course. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, people. I'm sorry. I think from the cancellation from last stream, and I think I had ended that connection, which I think I had to make a new section for it, and something got messed up. I apologize, but we are here, and let's get it going. I don't know about you, Ellen, but I am so happy that spring is right around the corner. I hate winter and everything about winter I hate.
Yeah, I I have so severe of allergies and like sensitivities to things that like I I it's almost spring here. It was like 70 degrees today. So I feel like that's technically spring even though the grass is still brown, but
Yeah, right.
I'm already itchy all over.
Yeah, today wasn't too bad. It's been in like the 40s and 50s all week.
Mhm.
And I think next week's supposed to be 60s and like one day like 75 already. So spring's like jumping right in, pushing winter out of the way and getting right in the action.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Oh man. But one good thing about spring is all the tulips. My mom loves tulips and we're going to go up to Michigan
Okay.
and do the big tulip festival there together.
Ah,
So that'll
nice.
be fun. It'll be like a
Nice.
Mother's Day slash birthday present. So yeah.
All
But
right, there we go. We got some cool, amazing people in here. Josh, how you doing? Welcome, man. Welcome, man. Good to see you. We got Tim
hi Tim.
McKay. I would yell at Tim, but I don't. It'll be too loud in my house. And we got Rowdy. What's going on, Rowdy? It's good to see you. Happy to have you in here.
Hey Rowdy.
All right, there. This is a new streaming platform that I'm not used to. I mean, it's the same as StreamYard, but it's we'll give it a go.
Oh man.
Well, do you want to give everybody a quick snippet of who you are and what you write?
Sure. I like to say I write dark speculative fiction, but I do write some outside of that as well. My debut novel is dark epic fantasy, which is this one.
Yes.
Um, yay.
Floating castle people.
Um, yeah, so, I I'm just so happy because like, the reception's been so warm for this novel, and, like, so many people have genuinely, like, reached out to me and asked how they could help me promote it and, have left kind reviews, and yeah. Anyway, so it's about these 3 women, and, they have to escape this evil prince. They all kinda get trapped in the floating castle, which isn't the floating castle you might be used to when you think of a floating castle.
Mhm.
It's a little different. I wanted it to be that way because I just wanted, to take some of the fantasy tropes that people are familiar with and do something of my own with it. Um, and sometimes I just wanted to totally mess around with them, like with Emmeline, uh,
Mhm.
she's kind of my knight character, in a sense. They call her a dame in the book, but she's essentially a knight, she just can't own land.
Yeah.
And so, uh, but yeah, there's a twist with her and one of the dragons that's mentioned in the book, so, on twist on a trope that you're familiar with.
Mhm.
Um Yeah, and it's very dark. A lot of people are, like, surprised just by like, how many horror elements there are in there, but I don't know, I feel like it wouldn't be the same story without
Yeah, I've seen nothing but
it.
great things about it, and of course, I loved it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, your review about made me cry. I was just like, "Oh my gosh, that was so nice." But
This is my 4th fantasy book that I've gotten into. The first one was, The Envoys of War by Dave Lawson, and then I read The Inkling of Flame by Z.B. Steele,
mhm,
Skyfold by the legend Tim McKay,
Tim McKay.
and then now this one, and I mean, you saw my review and everything that I was writing on acts like I took my time reading this book,
I love that.
and, like, I didn't mind. This was the only book that I read in February, and I didn't mind because I didn't want the book to end.
I'm
Like,
so honored.
I was that engrossed into this book.
Oh, that's so great. Oh, man, that makes me so happy. I same prob Yeah, it just gives me so much motivation, to get through the Pirate Queens faster. Um, yeah, I so the Pirate Queens, I should say, is book 2, it's definitely the title for
Mhm.
book 2. I love that title too much to change it now. Um, um, but yeah, I'm pretty far into the first draft of the Pirate Queens, and yeah, I mean, so in addition to the 3 main characters that you follow in this, which would be Emmeline, Velena the witch, and Li Ling, which is the princess,
Mhm.
um, you in the 2nd book, you'll also follow, Kalimo, which
Okay.
is Velena's sister,
Yeah.
and, Ava, which is the kind of uh she's the Marchioness of Deeds officially, but she's basically like the leader of the land army in Glendan.
Okay.
So, but she popped up just a little bit at the end of the floating castle. You slip into her point of view for a little bit, and then we go back right back to the rest of them. But that was on purpose so you could see a key scene in the and so you could also see what happened.
Yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, we're gonna get more from her because something happens at the end of the floating castle that, well, let's just say it really messes with the country of Glenanne, and you'll see
Mhm.
the aftermath
Yep.
of that in
Yep.
the 2nd book. So, but Li Ling, the princess, she is the one that wrecks everything.
Yes, she caused a lot of mayhem. A
Yeah.
lot.
Yep. Yep. And she thinks that she's smarter than she is, and and like, is pretty she's pretty reckless, actually,
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
yeah. So, it's funny when you think you're, like, the hero, and you kind of figure out over time that you might actually be, like, a villain, and so then you kinda have to grapple with that, right? So, like, with Li Ling, you'll see her character arc, um, kind of go through the whole series.
Okay.
You know, you saw some immediate changes for some of the characters,
Yeah.
but for Li Ling, she resists a lot of change. And I did that on purpose because I wanted Li Ling to have these moments where she's challenged over and over and she kind of rejects them.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, I'm right. I know I'm right.
Yeah.
Even when people are telling her she's wrong and they're right.
Mhm.
um, you know, uh, she's gonna have to like take a lot more time to actually change as a human being. And when she, she grew up very privileged and very pampered, and
Yeah.
um she didn't really have a lot of hardships, and then she has to face this situation which she's very ill prepared for.
Mhm.
She's under a lot of stress and pressure from her father. And yeah, let's just say he doesn't really come to her aid at all. She has to figure it out.
Yeah, and
And
that was very surprising, and when I found out what I don't wanna say it.
spoilers, right?
Yeah, I think you know what I wanna say, like, when I found out why he wasn't coming to her aid, I'm not gonna lie, I got so mad.
Good. That
I
was the
got
reaction I
so
was
mad.
looking. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. It's funny because the villain in this book, you also get to follow the main villain, if you will. There's also other villains in the books or
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
book.
yeah, yeah.
But the
But the
main
main
villain
one,
is Elias, which
Elias,
is the
yeah,
crown prince. Um,
and he's easily hateable.
yes, I
Yeah.
tried to make him that way.
Yeah.
Um, but then I also tried to mess with you a little bit and throw in some of his history and some of what he's gone through, and
Yeah.
and I didn't want to just have this, another privileged person with like no backstory who's just evil for evil's sake, right? I wanted him
Mhm.
to be a little more complicated. I wanted you to see like the reason behind why he became who he became.
Yeah.
And whether anybody agrees with it or not is the fun part, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like you get to decide whether you feel any empathy for him or not. And he's still very detestable and
Yeah.
very evil. So I just wanted to mess with the readers a little bit and be like, oh, look at this. But yeah, with Emmeline, it's kind of interesting because I see Elias and Emmeline as foil characters in which they both grew up in almost similar ways. Now, there is differences. Emily grew up in poverty, whereas Elias grew up in privilege.
Mhm.
Um, but there's some similarities there too with how their parents treated them.
Yeah.
And Emily goes on a totally different path and trajectory than Elias does. Um, but she'll have her own difficulties, as you've seen through the first book. But yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and speaking of that, so you follow what I'm thinking is you wrote 4 different POVs, the Elias, Emily, Valina, and
Mhm.
obviously, Lilling.
Mhm.
How difficult was that or easy for you?
It was so difficult. I wanted everyone to sound like Emmeline at first in my head because Emmeline was the one that started this all. It was her character that, um, you know, the idea came from. I was just like, "Oh, what if the knight was like a woman? And what if, you know, she saved the princess instead of a guy?" And then I was like, "Well, what if the princess was actually like this chaos creator and like she tries to save herself, right?" And
Yeah.
I don't know. And then it kind of spiraled from there. But in my head, everyone sounded like Emmeline to me, so I had to really work really hard to make them all distinct. And I had help with that. I had, my writers groups and who I call my book coach, which is my
Mhm.
friend Leah, because she's been through this with me from like day one. She
Yeah.
reads each individual chapter, takes time to read each individual chapter and give me advice, which I know is super rare, and I'm super grateful to have that. But they all helped me differentiate the characters. And they'd be like, "No, this doesn't sound like." That's my mom, by the way.
Okay. Hello, mom.
Yeah, she rocks. So yeah, um, but there would definitely be times where they'd be like, this doesn't sound like Li Ling. Like Li Ling wouldn't do this, she would do this." And I would think about it for a minute and I'd be like, "I think you're right. Yeah, because of this, this, and this." And so it's getting easier as I go, actually,
Okay.
to make them distinct, because
Yeah.
I have spent so much time with each character and I'm like, no, they wouldn't do that. They would do this.
Yeah.
So my problem is I'm like Emmeline, so I don't have any subtlety. So I have to really work like, the dialogue and the subtext and, aw. Hi,
Saffron, how you
puppy.
doing? Good to see you.
Um, but yeah, it's been actually really fun to spend all this time thinking about these characters as, like, what would they be like as real human beings? And um how would they be different than me, in a sense,
Mhm.
because the way Elias handles things is definitely not the way I would handle things. So I had to, like, get into his villainous head, and it was weird sometimes. I'm just like, "Oof, is this too much?" Like, you know?
Yeah, so did
But
you get to become, like, each I always ask about authors, like, did you have to become, like, each character? Like,
ah,
did you have to get into that mindset of, like you mentioned, like, she would not do this, or Elias wouldn't do this, or he would do this?
in a sense, you kind of do, which is probably why I was so uncomfortable with Elias.
Yeah,
But
yeah, you had to think, like, bad thoughts in what he would do or try to, stop everything she's trying to accomplish.
right, right. And it was funny because in the earlier drafts, he almost sounded, cartoonish, um,
Okay.
because I was just so uncomfortable making him so evil. Um, and so it was almost like I was subconsciously making him a little bit, uh, hilarious and stupid. Um, and so I had to go back and kind of fix those, so he was less like, a cartoon villain and more like Elias. And, yeah, there's it was funny, I remember going through some of the earlier drafts with Leah, and she's like, he keeps talking this big game, but we haven't seen him actually do anything like super evil yet. When are we
Mhm.
gonna get to see him do something super evil?" And I was like, "Oh." So then I wrote this other scene to show you how evil he is. And yeah, it only gets worse in book 2, so
Oh, I would
prepare
imagine because
yourself.
he is, I'm assuming, pretty mad about what happened at the very end of the book. So he wants some revenge.
You're right, you're right. It's not gonna be pretty either. And, yeah, let's just say I'm probably gonna make people mad in book 2.
Oh man, hey, I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
If you
um
if you read Dark Bloom or Without a Whisper, then
mhm,
that author, or even any of the Red Rising
yeah,
books, they
yep.
they they make you mad, they make you angry, they make you happy, they make you sad, they make you cry. So
Yeah. Oh, Molly's book wrecked me. Oh my gosh. I've read Dark Bloom and I can't wait to read the sequel, but oh, yeah, Molly's book definitely wrecked me.
yeah.
It was so good though. Yeah, it's so funny because I'm so excited about everything that's happening in book 2, but I can't talk about any of it because, you know, I still need people to read book 1. But, I can tell you a few choice things since you've already read it, but I'll tell you later. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so basically you won't be in Elias's head in the second book. Um,
Oh no.
No, I decided to get out of his head because so many people hated him so much, rightfully so,
Yeah.
that, I thought, "Well, wouldn't it be cool if I just went into some of these other characters' heads that you haven't been in yet, and you really get the complex picture of these people?" And I chose the particular people that I chose because you need to see what's happening in 2 separate areas of the map.
Okay.
And so those 2 people are in this one area of the map where you need to see 2 different things going on, and the rest are in a different part of the map where the main story continues. Um, and if so it's not really a spoiler because you don't know where they're gonna end up and why. Um, but I will say it involves pirates.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah. I it was funny, I loved Pirates, um, as a kid, and we watched, like, all of the what was the ones with Jack Black in it? Oh,
With Jack Black,
or not Jack Black, what am I thinking? Oh,
Johnny Depp,
Johnny Depp, thank you.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Jack Black.
I mean, he could have been in that movie. He
He
would. He
probably
would have
would've
done it
done
well,
well.
probably.
Oh my gosh. No, no, Johnny Depp. But yeah, those movies. I loved watching those in the theater with my parents. It was so fun. Obviously there's a lot of like Disneyfying of the of the pirate life in that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I've been reading about I'll give you a slight hint. I've been reading about the famous, Chinese pirate, that she led, like, this big giant fleet, and she used, like, her
Okay.
cunning and her wit to kind of, rule this pirate kind of kingdom of hers. And so she's kind of an inspiration for some of the characters, but of course, it's never like a direct translation, it's kind of like my own thing, and as I've hinted, there's 2 of them. So,
Hmm.
if you were paying attention in the first book, you'll know the name of one of them right off the bat. She's hated and reviled in, Glydan, and then the other one is supposed to be a surprise. So
Okay.
mhm.
All
So,
right. So
yeah.
you said you were writing in like two different ways. Like in the second one, you're writing. You said um in what Lilling's point of view, and everybody else, and then who was the other one?
So there's gonna be as of right now, and, like, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna say something else after it, but there's gonna be 5 points of view.
Okay.
So Ava and Kalimo are the new ones, and then you'll have Emmeline and Lei Ling and Velena.
Yeah.
Um, and Ava and Kalimo are in this one spot, and the 3 main characters are in another spot. Now, have I decided on whether I'm gonna make that a full novel or split it into 2 books? No, I haven't decided. And it's mainly because there is 2 distinct stories going on that are parallel to each other, and I don't wanna make this giant book, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, unless I can edit it down to where I like it, I might have to split it, like a novella and a novel,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
Um, but I'm trying not to do that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to I'm trying to make it work, between the 2 things, especially because there's scenes where, like, Ava, for example, will reference some of the main characters, and those
Hmm.
events are happening at the same time, so it's like, I don't know. I'm still undecided. Right now, my book coach is saying, "1 book." But I have to make sure I'm not, like, giving you, like, this because Mike Mallman won't read it if it's over a certain amount of
Yeah. I think
pages,
it's over like 300 pages. He won't read it. He
right?
refuses to read anything over 300 pages.
Right.
So how hard
Uh,
is it to connect all that together, writing from that many different points of views and making it make sense?
it is really hard, actually. I had to go back several times and make sure like the timeline was like, making sense, and I tried to make the transitions easy for the reader to keep so that they could kind of keep up with what's going on and not get confused. Um and yeah, I there were definitely points where I had to go back and be like, "Wait a second. Did she
Yeah.
have an injury in this chapter?" Like so even like the regular plot was hard to keep track of, and then I'm doing all this crazy stuff with it. Just being all over the place. But multi POV is very challenging. Especially because like you said, you kind of have to become those characters and make them believable and distinct.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
which is it was a challenge that I liked because I like multi POV. I like being in, different people's heads, and they also will notice each other, right? And
Mhm.
so you get to see the outside perspective of some of the characters that um you're in their head in a different chapter, right? So Liling is thinking I'm right about all this stuff, and Emmeline's like, "What is she doing?" So so it's kind of nice because then you get like this full perspective almost, um because they're all observing and thinking about each other
Yeah.
and what each other is doing. They're judging, they're they're thinking, in Liling's case, how can I manipulate these people? Um in Emmeline's case, how can I survive these people?
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
know? And then Velena is just like, they're kind of by accident, and she's just like, "What did I stumble into? What is this? What has everybody done? Including myself." So, um, and then Elias, of course, is just mad at everybody, but that's just him. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
yep. Yeah, it's pretty challenging, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
but
with plus with fantasy, like, and I always find that fascinating with and with bigger series, how authors can
mhm.
write with so many different characters. Like I was tracking the characters down in your book as I was reading it, and I have 25 characters throughout the entire book. How did you do that?
Oh my gosh. Well, I forget how much the original count was. I went through and I counted my characters in one of the drafts. Because it was just like there are too many. Um but I ended up combining some people, like I ended up combining 3 people into one. Um Jing Zhao, which is the taster for Li Ling. She tastes all
Okay.
her food for poison.
Yes.
Um she was 3 characters at first.
Okay.
And I was like, this is unnecessary. She can do all the things. Let's put her into one. And then, there were a lot of like extra minor characters that were just like,
Yeah, there were some sub characters that were just there for a little bit that I didn't write down, so there was probably more than 25. But
mhm. But the minor characters that you see in this book, especially the named ones, keep them in mind because you'll see them again most likely. Unless they're dead, of course, then,
yeah,
that happens. And they're not gonna show up again. I don't know. Maybe I could play around with ghosts or something, but I doubt they're gonna show up. But no, yeah, I want to say it was a stupid number of just characters, and I was just like, I went through and I just slashed out characters like this one's not needed, this one's not needed. I deleted a whole bunch of scenes, um, or I rewrote a lot of scenes, so that they made more sense. Um, but Matilda, for example, um,
mhm,
she plays a pivotal role in the Floating Castle, and she's a very minor character in the actual book. But I loved her so much, I wrote a short story about her. And I put it up on my
uh,
blog for free. You have to be a subscriber, but
okay,
it's free. It's not, I don't make you pay to subscribe. It's just like one of those type your email and things.
yeah,
But yeah, it was really fun to write her story. That's probably one of the darkest stories I've ever written was Matilda's story.
okay,
Um, just like the spooky atmosphere. Um, it's very creepy. And you can feel kind of the dread
Mhm.
and the lack of hope in it. Um, so let's just say Matilda's gonna bring that energy in book 2.
Nice,
So,
nice.
um, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Uh, because otherwise massive spoilers, but yeah, so, like, hey, Rod.
We have
Um,
Rod. Hello, how you doing?
yeah, even the minor characters are important to me. I actually love minor characters so much that I don't know. I just wanna make them more important than they are.
Yeah.
Um, because I don't know, they just feel it sucks when it's like, "Oh, this servant came and brought this dish." I'm like, "No, this servant who knows all your secrets, who's telling them secretly to this other person that's your enemy is not just some random servant, right?" No, that's my immediate, like, I wanna make a story out of everything.
So did you ever get lost and forget the characters that you were creating? Like, "Oh, wait, what is this one doing again?"
Yes. Yes. Yes, especially in the first, like, drafts, it was just like, "Peel, hi.
"PL, how you doing? Good to see you."
Hi. Good to see you." Sort of. Um, yeah. I I don't know, I just had a really hard time in the first draft with characters. I would forget, um I would for sure forget, like, certain characters were in certain spots, like, they couldn't actually be physically here because 'cause they're over here in this other place. Um it was funny. There was one scene I had to completely rewrite because this is more about the action happening in the scene. But, it was, it was let's just say it was kind of a scene where people were all in danger, but they weren't acting like they were in danger,
Mhm,
and so they weren't, like, finding cover or, they weren't doing the things that you would do when someone's trying to attack you, right?
mhm.
Um And one of my writing people pointed it out. My writing group people, they pointed it out. It was just like, "This makes no sense. Why are they acting this way?" I'm like, "I don't know. What's wrong with me? That nobody
Listen,
would
I'm
act
going
this."
through a lot. I got too many characters in my head. I can't focus.
Right. Yeah. So
Um,
yeah.
Rod, what I counted was 25 because I was writing down all the characters because I was impressed with how many there were. So I counted 25, but she said before we got in here there was a lot more that she had to combine into one person.
Yeah, or just cut completely.
Yeah, or just cut.
Like, I had, I don't know, random bartenders, and I had, like, just I there was actually the scene where Valena goes to, this this place that's kind of I'm trying not to be spoilery. She's in a new place for the first time, and, I had this whole other witch in this place,
Hmm.
that she meets, and there was this whole other like, plot line happening with this witch, and I had chapters and chapters and chapters of this, and I cut it all, including the witch.
Oh wow,
Um, because the wingspan of treason. Huh.
I have not heard of that one.
Hmm, okay. Yeah, sounds good. Um, yeah, but that's those scenes in that witch got cut, and, I mean, it was just a lot, like, but I feel like it made the book better, and it helped me focus on the characters that I needed to focus on.
Hmm.
And I know there's a lot of people out there that are like, you get too many characters and it starts to get confusing. So I did my best to do a service to both types of readers. I made a bunch of minor characters important and they'll keep coming up in the series. So the people who pay attention are gonna love that, I hope. Um, and at the same time, I made the main characters as easy to follow as I possibly could. So like the main plot, the main characters,
Hmm.
I did my best to make it clear what was going on. So, but I feel like I can always improve, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe book 2, I'm hoping book 2 will be even better than the first book. So,
Yeah, because I always found that so amazing with this is. Have you always been into fantasy?
well, yeah, kind of. Um, I think fantasy was my gateway drug into into all speculative fiction, really. You know, because when we went to the library when I was a kid, my parents always took me to the library.
Hmm.
Um, and I loved those days. And you know, it was fun. You got to pick out whatever book you wanted. And so
Yeah.
um, I ended up starting with fantasy like Terry Brooks and Neil Gaiman and, you know,
Okay.
think people like that. And then I ended up going into different genres, speculative fiction in general, just like science fiction, horror, um, uh, you know, The Handmaid's Tale was a big one for me. I even, you know, when I was younger, I read a lot of YA too. So the Hunger Games and all that. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's because as PL brought up because Rod was asking how many characters does Brandon Sanders usually have. Now I'm assuming a lot, but I know you know Steven Erickson, the Malazan series.
Mhm, mhm.
I have not gotten into that. I want to read it. It's a massive, massive series, but I've heard there is over 100 different characters throughout the entire book. Like, how does one do that and keep track of everything and make it all make sense? Like
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah, agreed, yeah, and, I mean and you have to think about, like, plot holes and everything else when it comes to, like, moving characters around, and so it's very challenging, but it's good to know that I'm not in the top with all the characters I have. Um, right now, I'm reading, Robin Hobb's, uh,
Okay,
series, the Farseer
I'm
trilogy.
about to start that real soon.
Yeah, yeah, I was so impressed with the first book, and I'm far into the second book. Um, the second book actually turns the horror knob up a little bit.
No,
There's
okay.
more gore and horror elements to that, but, um, yeah, but the first book, I was just blown away by how much she told us, which everybody says, Show, don't tell, show, don't tell," when you write, you know, it's one of those rules that you could just gag on because everybody tells you to do it. Um, and I sort of agree, but she tells you a lot of things, and it's very interesting. I
Yeah.
found it very interesting. I was like, "That's awesome!" Like, way to just break that rule, right? Rule.
Wow.
So I loved that. Yeah, she's very talented. Definitely recommend. At least the first book. The second book, I'm liking it. It definitely takes on a different mm, I wanna not a different tone, but it just feels a little different than the first
Hmm.
one.
Okay.
So, still really very much enjoying it.
Yeah,
Um
I've heard good things about it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Rod here has what characters in your story are in the most emotional scene?
It depends on what you mean by emotional.
Yeah, because it's a lot in this book. There's a lot
Yeah.
of emotional scenes in this book,
Yeah.
especially with Valena.
Yes. Yes. Valena, poor Valena. Oh my goodness, she goes through it. Um, Valena, like I said, came later, but she was someone that popped up in my head and just wouldn't leave. I'm
Hmm.
just like, "What if, you know, I did this thing, and what if I made this magic system that's" sorry, that
It's
was
all
my
right.
husband calling. He's gonna be like, "Why'd you ignore my call?" He obviously didn't remember. Anyway, no, but I wanted to kind of create a different kind of magic system, and I don't know if I think it's like the Scarlet Throne or the Jade Throne or something like that. I can't remember, but there's it's very similar in the sense that the magic is inherently kind of evil,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
You have to do some dark things to acquire it, and it changes you as a person. Um, and Velena has always kind of been given this mm, softer lens to the whole magic thing. She
Yeah.
thinks it's like this great thing to have, and she's the only one of her age.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, she thinks she should have it by now.
yeah, yeah, and instead something terrible happens. But it ends up being bittersweet, and she kind of has to navigate that. And then in the process of losing the thing that she wanted, right? In a sense.
Mhm.
um, she also figures out something else that's really important to her in her life, and something else that's been withheld from her. And so she has to kind of grapple with yeah, all of these things are revealed to her at once. And she pretty much loses everything. Um
Yeah.
and kind of has to rebuild, and it is really really hard. And you know, there are people that help her in a sense. Some it's more like, I'll help you until this, or there's stipulations, or am I really helping you? I don't know, maybe not. So um but yeah, it's it's definitely complicated for her. I wish I could go into more detail, but I'm just going to spoil everything if I say more.
Yeah.
um but yeah, I really love Valena. She is so important to me, like, as a character. I love Liling too, but she's so ambitious, and she just took over everything. She just
Yeah, she did.
she
Mhm.
Emmeline was first. She was my first kind of character that I created. And then Liling just came in and plowed her way through. It was just like, nope, this book's about me. So um, but yeah, Emmeline and Valena are vital to this whole series. And you'll see why even as you continue through this series. But I think it's pretty evident why they're important in the first book,
Mhm.
but it becomes more and more and more clear as the series goes on.
Right, that was actually not even line, was going to be my next question. So what inspired this whole story? What one day you just said, "I'm gonna write the story." How did it come to be?
Well, I kind of told you about Emmeline and Li Ling. So Emmeline was the character that popped into my mind first, and I thought about this woman who is a knight, right? And then I thought about the woman who was a knight saving the princess, and then I thought about the princess being her own chaotic self and saving herself in a sense. And then it spiraled from there. But before all that, I read a lot of fantasy, a lot.
Okay.
And what I noticed, especially in trad, indie, you can find some more unique stories out there in indie.
Yeah.
But in trad, there's like these main kind of camps. Um and they're definitely marketed towards two separate groups of readers, really
Mhm.
women and men, right? So romantasy is often marketed towards women, and the epic fantasy, grimdark, Game of Thrones, stuff like that, The Witcher, where you got like
Yeah.
this really masculine male lead,
Mhm.
right, is marketed towards men. And I'm like, but I don't want to write romantasy. I want to write epic fantasy. And I wanna do it where we have this group of women who come together, and we have reluctant allies and morally gray characters, and, people stabbing each other in the back, and betrayals and secrets and stuff like that. I wanted all the epic fantasy stuff, but, romantasy is good about centering women.
Mhm.
Well, most of the time. I will say sometimes the books start to become all about the guy that they love,
Yeah.
which, okay, if that's your thing, cool. But
Kinda takes away from the story, like the actual story.
exactly, yeah, which I was annoyed because I'm like, here we have this. this amazing woman that I'm trying to follow her story, and then all of a sudden it devolves into romance is cool. Like love stories are great.
Yeah.
But I just really wanted to hear her story, as an individual.
Mhm.
And it when the focus shifts, it's not what I want.
Yeah.
So that's just my take. Everybody has their own take, but and their own preferences, and that's cool. Um, but I just wanted to do something different, and I had a really hard time finding stories like mine. A really hard time, um, and that bothers me. So I was like, I just need to write this book that I want to read. It's the cliche. I need to write the book that I want to read.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone is raving about this book.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, PL. Yeah, I've been so grateful for all the people that have Mark, you have been a tremendous help to me. Just like all your reviews and, the short videos that you made and the
Mhm.
indie author of the week and oh my
I
gosh.
love doing it. Hey, listen, I mean, I don't know personally, but being an indie author, I can only imagine how difficult it is to promote your own work and get it out there. So I
Yeah.
love doing the whole indie author of the week and just that entire week, just help promoting that author, help promoting that book, and getting their work out into the world.
I appreciate that so much. Really, truly, it's so hard. Marketing is so hard, and you kind of have to take off your writer hat and put on your business hat, and it's like
Yeah.
business, publisher, marketer, everything. So it's really difficult. It's been a huge learning curve for me, for sure. So like when people go out of their way, like you did, to help me promote my book, it means the world to me. It really does. I appreciate it so much.
No problem. So do you have an idea of how far you're going to take this book? Like is this a
I
trilogy?
dread this question because everybody gets shocked when they hear the answer. Understandably so. But in my mind, this
20 books?
series is not that bad. Is I was thinking 8 to 10 books
Oh,
because
wow. Okay.
yeah, I know, and it's because I can see like the whole adventure with them, and I do this because they're in different spots throughout the adventure, so I'm, like, imagining the map. And it ends up in this one spot, in this one kind of epic conclusion, if you will. And this is after they figured out lots and lots of secrets and, have met a lot of people, and so, yeah.
Okay, so then how far do you have the books planned out?
So I have the first 5 books. Yes.
Like, you know where you wanna go with them.
Yes, plot it out, and I know the
Wow.
ending very well. The ending is just so clear in my mind where all of this is going, which helps because I have to create, like, building blocks to it, so having the ending clear in my mind is really helpful, but the other books, I feel like I have wiggle room with the other books, because the first, I wanna say 4 or 5, yeah, are, like, so clear in my mind that I'm like, "I can't deviate from this." But the last couple, sorry.
If you need to answer, go ahead. It
Uh,
doesn't.
no, 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 I will, hopefully he's okay, but I will answer it later. I'll just see when he's texting, just to make sure, but no, no, Mom, if you're still watching, can you can you call my husband? He's okay. He was just asking about food because he's nice. No, what was the question? Sorry.
Oh, wow. I asked you about how far in advance do you know the books, like how far you said up to book 5 you have it planned out up to book 5.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so that's all clear in my mind, but, like, the last, I wanna say 3 to 5 books, I feel like I have wiggle room, and part of me is like, I think I could go a different way actually with the plot, and I don't know if that would cut down on the amount of books or not. Um, it possibly could, but I was thinking, I could go a different way with this.
Mhm.
Uh, so I think those are up in the air. Let's just say those are up in the air. But I have 2 separate plot ideas in mind of where it would go.
Oh, okay.
Um, they all end at the same place. So either
Yeah.
either way I choose. Um, so yeah, it's definitely not this like nebulous thing. It's like I have thought about where my characters are going, both physically and like with their arcs and with the plot. Um and I know what I want to I want all of these political things to start devolving and
Yeah.
creating kind of this chaos. And as the secrets come out, it gets more and more and more dangerous, which I love.
And
Okay,
he is okay.
good, thank you, Mom. Yeah. He definitely forgot about the interview tonight, which is funny, but he was flying. He's a pilot, so
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay. So it's probably safe to say that by the end of the series, you're probably up there with like between maybe like 50 to 100 characters. Are you trying to keep it minimal?
I definitely introduce new characters in book 2. Some of the characters will be, in a sense, landlocked, so they'll stay where they pop up, um, because our main group will move around, but those characters kinda have to stay where they are.
Mhm.
Um, but in book 2, as things, get a little chaotic in Glendan for reasons I won't say, um, you know, the the those characters, they're vital to what happens at that time.
Yeah.
Um, and will they all make it?
Yeah. Who knows?
No promises.
That's gonna be. I know there's gonna be some heartbreak in this series. I could just.
Yeah.
I just know. I already know it.
Yep. I it was funny. I was I was almost arguing with my book coach, like, "I can't do this ending, everyone will hate me if I do this ending for book 2," and she's like, "No, it is vital. I'm upset about it, but you have to do it." Like, "Oh, okay." It makes sense for the plot, for the characters, it makes sense, and I'm gonna get in so much trouble with so many people. But, yeah. Yep. You've been forewarned at least.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, I had a feeling with book 2 coming that there was gonna be something tragic that was gonna happen in book 2. I already know that there is.
Yep. Yep. Tragic in more ways than one.
Oh man. You hear that, everybody? It's book 2. Get ready.
Yeah. Yep. Let's just say, uh, well, I'm not gonna say anything. You're gonna have to read the book.
All right. So I'm new to these terms. Well, not the one, but the other one. Are you a plotter or what's the other one that people say it?
A
A
pantser.
pantser? What are you?
I'm definitely a plotter.
So I figured that.
Yeah, but I'm a chaos plotter. So I have notepads and sticky notes and notes on my iPhone, notes on my computer, everywhere. I mean, they're just everywhere. And usually when I need them, I can't find them. But I write all kinds of notes down. I write all kinds of things down by hand, and sometimes I'll type stuff, especially if I don't want to forget it, which is hilarious because then I can't find it later. But anyway, um, yeah, it's just it's chaos all up in here all the time.
Yeah.
It reflects my life, so it works. I have a very chaotic schedule, uh, between all the author work I do and being a mom to a two-year-old and, uh
Yeah.
even, the stuff that, because my husband and I are always trying to plan around each other's schedules, and so I have to constantly pivot and do something else. So I have to be very adaptable and,
Mhm.
um, not make a mountain out of a molehill and, just kinda do what I have to do. So when people ask, "When do you write?" I'm just like, "Whenever I can." Whenever I can fit it in, because it's so hard to do otherwise.
How
But,
long did it take you to write this one?
oh, I wanna say it was I think it was 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Um,
you have 10 books planned out in your head. That is truly amazing.
well, I'm hoping the other books go a little faster. Because,
Hey,
I
don't rush them. Take your time
I
and make it
appreciate
how
that.
you wanna make it.
I appreciate that.
I
Not everybody says that. They're just kinda like, "Hurry up." Which I also love that reaction because I'm just like, "I'm so glad you want the second book," but at the
Oh,
same
of
time,
course, yeah. Yeah, at the same
yeah,
time, like, you don't wanna rush your work because that is when mistakes happen, and
right.
you might not actually like it, but because you feel because you know people wanna have it out, you wanna they wanna read it, you're getting it
Mhm.
out.
Yeah,
I always say just take your time
yeah.
and create the story that you wanna create and put it out there.
See, this is why I like you, Mark, because you're just so chill, like, you're just like, "Take the time that you need," like, I'm just that's, like, so nice. It's, like, so much less pressure to hear that, especially with just being busy, 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 and, you know, of course, there's other things going on in the background that, we don't talk about, right? Because they're private,
Mhm.
but there's also
Yeah.
those things going on too, and so it's a lot of, just trying to balance everything, which is really tough, but we're trying.
So you say you're pretty much everywhere every single day. When you write, do you find the time to write like with quiet or do you can you write with noise in the background with the kid in the background or music or if your husband's causing chaos in the house you know like do you need to have what kind of atmosphere do you need to have to write.
Usually quiet, which is hilarious because most of my life is loud. Um, but yeah, I try to hide sometimes and write, which isn't
Hmm.
always successful. I mean, anyone who has a two-year-old knows you
No, I
can't
know.
really
Yep.
hide. So that being said, I love my boy so much. I love spending time with him. I'm easily distracted by his adorableness. But anyway, sometimes my husband will help me carve out the time, and then other times, you know. Um, so my son attends daycare and then my husband will go to work and that'll be like the time I can pound out the most,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Hmm.
the most words, because I can turn the TV off and the only thing I have to worry about is pets at that point. And then I can I can write the story. So,
Yeah.
yep. But it's not always as simple as you think. There are definitely times where I get interrupted for lots of reasons.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
So now
We
I'm assuming, probably like most writers, you're always jotting things down. Where like wherever you're at, if something comes in your pops in your head, you're writing it down.
Yep. There's times that I will jump out of the shower to write something down. I kid you not.
Oh no,
Um,
I believe that because you don't want to forget it. Like it's
right?
it. You gotta get it down.
And then you have, like, this soggy, wet piece of paper. Anyway, um, but yeah, I mean, there's been times where I pulled to the side of the road where I'm like, "Wait, I have to write this down." Sometimes I'll interrupt my husband and be like, "Wait, you just gave me an idea. Hang on just a second. I just need to."
That's
So it's
awesome.
it's like constant, just all these ideas just kind of in my head, and I'm trying to think about all my responsibilities at the same time, which is hilarious. But yeah, chaos, like I said.
Yes, right. I started it a while ago, but listen, like Ellen's life, my life is just chaotic. I'm always working or at the gym. Not chaotic with you, babe. Okay.
Oh, no, I thought you said your wife was chaotic. I
Oh.
was like, no. Excuse me,
She was ready to smack the back of my head.
you got one more time. Fuck up again. Fuck around and find out.
No, my
Oh no.
life is chaotic. Not my wife.
Oh. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. Uh, that no, that sums up the women in my family right there really well.
Yeah.
Yep. They're just like, "What'd you say? Don't mess with me."
Oh, well, she's from North Carolina, so she don't put up with nothing.
As you shouldn't. No, no, Mark, when you said that you were going to write, I was just like, "I wanna know." Like, I wanna know what you're writing about. I was so curious, and I'm like,
It's gonna take a long time.
"That's fair." And you know what? I tell people, like, it took me a while to find the story that I actually wanted to show people, as far as a novel goes. Like, I've written and published a lot of short stories, which helped me kind of learn, like, how to craft a story, how to write dialogue, and how to create characters that kinda matter.
Oh,
Um,
that's what also the dialogue in your book is fascinating.
Thanks, thanks. Yeah, I tried to, with like the nobility, like they don't speak in contractions, right?
Mhm.
So you won't hear like Li Ling speak out loud the word can't, right? She'll say,
Yeah.
I cannot. um, but so I tried to kind of make that distinct because there was a lot of like history and just stuff that I read about, and contractions and the English language, all of that is just really fascinating, and there's so much difference over time, and old English versus like this new English that we speak. Um, yes, my grandmother is a force of nature. And I love that about her. So she's definitely an inspiring individual. uh, so, but yeah, short stories, and then with the novels, I think I wrote like 7 novels, and I put them in a drawer
Mhm.
because they weren't it. They
Yeah.
weren't what I wanted. So, you know, don't ever let anyone pressure you, uh,
Yeah. No, I
because
know. Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
you can take your time. It's art, right? You can't rush art.
No, not at
Um,
all.
so
But like
I'm excited because, you're such a champion for so many authors out there. It would be so cool, like, if we got a chance to, like, yell about your story, in return. I'm just saying that,
Right.
but
I'm so bad with grammar, punctuation, all that stuff. I wrote so I started writing one book and then I started writing a horror book that I was just jotting down just to see if I can come up with something. But the first book that I was writing, I typed it all up. I was excited. I was happy as hell with it. And then I gave it to my wife to look at, and she read it, and she was just like, "What is going on in this book or in this 2 pages that you gave me?" I'm like, "What do you mean? You can't tell? Like, there's no punctuation, there's no commas, there's nothing in it that explains to me like who's even talking right now." I'm like, yeah,
well, li listen, I mean, grammar is something that can be learned, and grammar is changing with time. And there are great copy editors and proofreaders out there. So, don't give up just because of that. I know
oh
you're
no,
not
yeah,
giving up,
yeah, yeah,
but like, don't be discouraged, I guess, because grammar was something I really struggled with when I first started out. It was really hard for me. I grew up in a rural area, and like if you spoke with proper grammar, you were made fun of. So so people thought you were just a nerd, and I genuinely was a nerd. straight up. But, they didn't mean, they didn't it wasn't a compliment back then, let's just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, but
I'm a straight up nerd. I guess reading book. I guess reading is nerd. Okay, I'm a gamer. I read books. I like comic books. You know, I'm a straight up nerd.
yeah, I mean, nerds are cool now, so whatever. No, but, yeah, it was like, something I had to learn with time. It
Yeah.
helped that I read a lot because then I could see the grammar used correctly. Now, don't get me wrong, there are definitely errors in even trad books, right?
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah,
so I can think of one publisher in general that has a lot of grammar errors in their books that they're very like very famous trad published
yeah.
trad publisher. So it surprised me, but I was just like, wow, how many did I count in this book? But anyway, um, I digress. The yeah, the grammar is something you can learn. There are books, and there are a lot of nice people out there that can
Mhm.
say, "Oh, well, this is not correct because of this or whatever,"
Yeah.
and they'll do it objectively. They won't do it without judgment, with judgment. So that's kind of nice. Because I had to have a lot of those. I had to have a lot of people say, uh, that's not the word you mean, actually. You're using the wrong word there. Oh, so then you learn about like, words that are sound the same but are spelled differently. Whoops.
Have you heard
So,
about a lot of books nowadays that are starting to have no periods?
no. Like poetry or just
Yeah,
like
I forget what. I wish I knew who. I wish I knew what it was, but um,
is it an experimental style?
I think it is. I think it is. That
See,
the book is just one long sentence,
oh,
and
that's
there's
fascinating.
and there's no break in it at all.
See, I know different people have different opinions about experimental literature, but I like it. I don't think it always works, but I like it. I like when, writers experiment and try new things and are bold and weird. I like that. So that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah,
um,
be kind of hard to stop somewhere if you need to stop, but like you want to close. Like okay, it's kind of difficult to find a good place to stop at.
yeah. Yeah, because 'cause you're, like, compelled to keep reading because there's just
Yeah.
no end to it. That is interesting. I could see how that would, like that is interesting, though, if you think about it, because as a reader, you can't stop. You have to keep reading, and then on
Hmm.
top of that, it's like it's a pace thing too, right? You're just going and going and going and going, and it's like, "Whoa, that's a really quick pace." I mean, if you think about it. So I would be so interested in reading that and see if that works. See, I'm used to novels that are just like, either they do like, oh, like experimental in the sense that you have like a diary entry and then you have a letter, or
Hmm.
almost like a video game where you pick up different documents, right, and read
Yeah.
them, but it's in a book and it all comes together to make a story. I think Sarah New, who wrote Hypochondria. I think
Yeah.
she might be doing something like that actually. So I'm
Yeah.
very
Okay.
interested in that. But then there's also like, the books that will use like footnotes. So you'll have like the main story and then there'll be like a number and then there'll be a footnote at the bottom. And I've seen a novel that didn't work, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But there was another novel that I'm reading, and it's, The Raven Scholar, kind of a more famous, newer trad published book,
Mm.
that kind of blew up, and it's got a cult following now. But
Okay.
they, she does that sort of in the book, but it's very spare, and it makes sense because the main person that you stay with, the main POV character,
Mhm.
um, she's a scholar, right? So, of course, footnotes make sense.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, but I liked the spare use of that, but it also was surprising when it first came up. I was like, "What? We got footnotes in this book? Oh." Okay. So it's a gamble whenever you do something experimental. I think people will either really hate it or really love it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to read one of those kind of books.
mhm. Yeah.
And Mark, there are writers who are striving to be rebels, bold, breaking all the rules, probably don't even know or understand the basic rules to begin with.
There yeah, I would say that's true for some writers. For some writers, it's like it's more about learning, and understanding why the rules are the way they are first. And we say rules, and I do this because to me, it's like this is art. So are there rules? Um, but there are definitely things that the reader expects. And if you do something
Mhm.
outside of what the reader expects, then you have to really pull it off. It's hard. Um, but I also think there's people that are purposefully breaking the rules for various reasons. And one of those reasons is because they're kind of going against what the man says, if you will.
Yeah.
They're going against what these institutions of learning have said. You can't break away from this. This is the standard. You have to follow this. I can say that because I went through 2 creative writing programs, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of pressure to do things a certain way. Um, More so in one of them than the others. But the people that are breaking those rules on purpose to kind of go against that are creating some really weird and beautiful things, and that's kind of exciting. So, yeah.
You never know if it will work unless it's done.
Yeah, it's fun to try.
Yeah.
So my book coach, Leah, she does a lot of she's a professor, and she does a lot of teaching about just the play of creative writing.
Mhm.
And playing around is so freeing and so wonderful if you just don't have any expectations and you just let yourself write,
Yeah.
and you just have fun.
Mm.
So, I think it's great because, there's no outside external pressures. You're just writing about this thing today, and if it's something, cool. If it's not, whatever, you had fun.
Yeah,
So,
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
So, I like how your chapters aren't like 35 pages. And I know that fantasy in a lot of fantasy books, chapters are long.
Yeah.
Did you want to keep them short on purpose, or how did you plan that out?
I did wanna keep them short on purpose. I and it was more about the economy of words because I I didn't want a giant book. I didn't want a giant debut novel. I wanted something that people wouldn't be afraid to pick up,
Mhm.
because it's, like, this thick, right? So I I wanted something that, wouldn't be intimidating, especially since it's a series starter, you gotta sell people on that.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I was just like there was like, at the time, I was trying to query this, to see if agents would be interested, and let me just tell you, they were not. And I'll tell you why after, but, yeah, I think the industry standard right now for fantasy, epic fantasy, is 120,000 words.
Okay.
Or at least it was when I was querying. I don't know if it's changed. I've seen more fantasy books skewing towards the shorter. Now you'll notice the big names can get away with whatever they want,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Mhm.
they can write chonkers and nobody cares.
Yeah.
Um, but, like, the debut novelist, they're not allowed to do that. So when I was querying, I was like, "Okay, I need to edit this down to 120,000 words or less." But then I also found that I wanted to edit it down that much because I didn't like some of the language that I put in there. As you go through drafts, you read things and you're like, "Ugh, why'd I put that in there?" Let's take that
Yeah.
out. So it's good to revise, uh, but yeah, that's why. Now when I was querying it, um, a lot of agents didn't want it because 1, I'm a debut novelist. 2, I'm writing dark epic fantasy that's outside of your main camps. 3, it's a long series. They were not interested in that. They're like, "You write a standalone as your debut novel, or, if you're not gonna write a standalone with series potential," which means it can stand alone as on its own.
Mhm.
If you're successful enough, you might get to write a second book. If your second book's successful enough, you might get to write a third book, okay? So you might have a trilogy if you're lucky. Um, Now, no one is as lucky as the big names, right? So no one actually
Yeah.
gets there, and unless you're really, really, really lucky. But I feel like a lot of the big names, they were writing in different times, and now
Yeah.
the industry is really tight and really they're struggling. A lot of big indie publishers shut down. A lot of agents are leaving the business. So it's even more competitive than normal, and people are really itching for those sure sales. Publishers are very strict about what they'll take. So that's where indie
That's
comes in,
that's
right?
that is why indie is so unique because it's your book and you're putting out as much as you want in it. You want to write a 500-page debut novel, you can do that.
Yeah.
1,000-page, you can do that,
Yeah.
and no one can tell you different.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Um, And before I wrote this, my main kind of fiction, medium was flash fiction, which is funny because it's like the shortest type of fiction you can write, right?
Mm,
So, in a sense, I was thinking, okay, I want to get these chapters down to 2,000 words or less every time. Did I achieve that every time? No. Uh, but that's what I was aiming for because I wanted to I didn't want anything in there that wasn't really needed, that didn't help the story or aid the story in some way. So if,
mhm,
like, for example, Li Ling is looking around at the castle or whatever, she's doing it because that's what her character does, right? She observes all the weaknesses and all the
yeah,
things that, she can exploit and tell her father about. She wants to come back with that information to impress her father, who is, an emperor and wants to expand his territory. So yeah, I'm trying to make it make sense within
yeah.
the book. So, yeah.
Never push any story based on word count.
Yeah. That's great, Rod, because, that will open doors for writers who have the bigger books or who have the really tiny books, because those finding publishers for those is hard too, unless maybe you go small press. Small press they're way more open to novellas, I've noticed. But finding an agent for novellas is hard. Um, Getting them trad published is hard. So it's cool that you kind of create those, openings, for writers. So, but yeah, um, but yeah, and then you've got readers like Mike, who's like, it can't be over this amount of pages, or I'm not gonna read it. So yeah, just trying to think about who I'm targeting and what they would want to read. And this was after I wrote the book that I wanted to write,
Yeah.
so, if that makes sense.
I mean, novellas are unique in their own ways because novella, you have to make a short story good, and you have to make that reader want to come back to if you plan on continuing that novella.
Hmm.
So to combine a short story in X amount of pages is I can only imagine can only be is tough.
Yeah, it's very tough, but it also kind of helps you think about what's needed, right? What
Yeah.
is vital to the story? And because it's really easy to write a whole bunch of words and just let yourself go and, you know, be like, "Well, I wrote it and it's in there and I want it in there." So, but if you kind of push yourself a little bit and take a step back and try to think objectively about your story,
Mm,
um, and then kind of revise like that, I think it helps a lot. It also helps a lot to have other people read it, to be honest, because you only you know your story so intimately and you're so close to it that sometimes you can't see some of the flaws. So other people saying, "Hey, like this doesn't make sense here," or "Why on earth are they over here when they should have been over here?" um, Helps a lot, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Are you gonna try to keep your books a little shorter than
that's the goal. Yeah, the
yeah,
goal is to kind of keep them close to,
like what it is right now?
yeah.
What's it, like 400 or about to be a little under 400, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to make big giant big giant chonkers.
Yeah, that's what's stopping me from reading like Brandon Sanderson's and I mean Joe
Yeah.
Abercrombie. His books aren't that beefy, but like the Malazan series, like they're just so huge,
Yeah.
and like that is an investment with Brandon Sanderson and those kind of books.
It is. It is. And I think that's why I admire the novella form so much, because you get this complete story, but it's short and you can get through it quicker. And when you have a giant TBR like I do, because I plan to read so many of the indie authors that, have supported me and have been so kind to me, like all of them, they all have books out, right?
Yeah.
Or if they're thinking about it. And
Mm.
so I want to read all their books and support them. And so my TBR is really, really tall. So when I
Oh,
hit a
yes.
novella, like a lot of the horror authors that I'm reading now, they write novellas, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, a short one. Yes, I can get through
Yeah.
this one faster."
Like Janelle's books, I flew through all her books.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just read, not that long ago, Sarah New's, 2 novellas. I think the second one, Hypochondria, is a novella. It's very short.
Yeah, she sent me that book. I'm gonna try and knock that out soon.
Oh, it's so easy to read quickly, and it's very good. I said this in like a video rant basically, but I everything that, she has written that I've read so far has been tremendous.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
just really love it. And I'm planning on reading, like, a bunch of the DVS
Oh
books.
yeah, there's so many of them. There's so many of
Mhm.
them. I think
I
I've
just
gone
got
through
done with
about 5 maybe of them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I just got done with, Sinner's Pass. I read it as a beta.
I heard that was good.
Yeah, because he's re-releasing that one. He did a whole bunch of edits, and he's
Okay.
re-releasing that one. So that's SS Fitzgerald for anybody who's curious. But I just read the Sinner's Pass, and whew, wow, that was intense ride. Oh my gosh. So, but I'm so excited to read the DVS people. I've been meaning to read their books for a while. And then Matt Falcon's book, I'm
Yep.
excited to
Got
read.
his.
And
Yep.
yeah, there's a bunch of them. I could go on forever. Right now I'm reading Love Lethal, Death Divine by my friend Helena,
Okay.
and it is so good. So I think you know what this is like, this feeling, but when you get into a book and you're just like, I could read this faster, but I just want to savor this. You know what I mean? So like that's the type of book that she's written. Thank you.
I wanted to savor this book. If I wish I was still reading it.
Oh. I love that so much. That makes me so happy. Um, yeah, Helena's book is so good. It's another one to just savor. Um, so I should be reading it a lot faster, but I can't help myself. I'm like, oh, her
Yeah.
character work is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I could have finished your book in I'm not probably 2 days, 2 to 3 days. It would have been done. But there were
yeah.
just days where I read just a chapter and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put it down. That's it. I'm gonna put it down. But then there were some nights where I did stay up late and at work the next day I was kind of tired. But
Mm.
you know.
Oh, thank you so much for reading it. Yeah, I know. It's funny because the first half of the book is like really there's really 3 acts within the book.
Yeah.
Um, but the first, I wanna say, third of the book is kind of like you're getting to know these characters' motivations in the world, and you're setting the stage in a sense, by getting everybody to where they need to go or to have certain things happen, right? To
Mhm.
create forward motion. And then the second part, it gets a little crazier, and the third part is just
Yeah, that yeah. The whole yeah, third part of the book was crazy. But throughout the entire book, even with you learning the characters in the beginning, you kept it at a very amazing pace. Like it was perfect the entire book, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, pacing is difficult, so I appreciate that. There were definitely times I had to go back and I had to fix things because I felt like the pacing was off. So that's good to hear. Thank you.
Nah, the pacing was never off. Never.
I agree, Rod.
I'll get you on here, Rod. Don't worry. You know I will. You know I will.
Yeah. Mark, you're really good at this though. I was so excited when you asked me because I was just like after watching your interview with Corvina, I was like, Mark is so chill and just, like
I am a shy person. Like for me to do this, like I'm impressing myself because I don't talk to people. Okay, I don't.
well, I'm grateful you're talking to me.
But
Yeah,
yeah, with Corvina, I had we've been friends for the past year, so that's why I asked her to be my first guest because I knew her for so long,
yeah,
and we were just comfortable with each other. Where we
yeah,
just got on and talked.
yeah,
And one thing with with what I want to do with interviews is I don't want it to make it seem like it's an interview, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
Like I don't want to just ask you a question and you answer it, and then okay, next question, answer it.
Yeah,
I want it to be a conversation.
yeah, an organic discussion. Yeah,
Yes,
I love it.
yes,
I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I felt that way with Corvina's, because I went back and rewatched it because I missed it live. I've been missing so many lives that I want to be on, let me tell you. But anyway, I rewatched the video and I was just like, wow. It was just like being in a room with friends, you know?
yeah.
So it was really nice. Corvina is such an interesting person
Hmm.
and I just love the sound of her books. Talk about on the TBR. But yeah, yeah, it was a great interview. So you're doing great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, before we started, I was nervous. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna just like say something stupid. I know I'm going to. It's just-
No, no. I mean, I constantly say stupid things, and I stutter and I say and I'm just like I don't know. I'm just here. I'm just doing my best.
yeah. Oh my god. When
So,
I first started BookTube, I was saying probably like every like 30 seconds. And I would rewatch the video and I'm like, dude, I gotta stop saying So
I'm the same way.
I worked that word out of my vocabulary.
That's awesome. I have yet to do that. You're gonna have to give me tips, like that just now. I I don't know when I pause, my natural like inclination is to say,
Yeah, yeah. Or like, yeah,
yeah, is another one. Oh,
yeah.
I can't get rid of it. Ugh. Anyway,
Oh, you have this the Kirk reviews. Like you started that, right? That's all you. Did you start that? Oh no, wait. I'm sorry.
the Small Spec Book Awards.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
The Kirk reviews was because I think I saw something about your book on Kirk reviews. Oh wait, no, it's on your book, isn't it? Yes, it's on your
yeah. A
book.
quote from Kirkus. Yeah, yeah. I pulled one of their quotes from there. But I liked the quotes I got better from actual authors. You know, like Millie and
Hmm.
Florence and actually quite a few just people from all over the writers that I met. They were so kind to just read the book and write a review about it, and that was so helpful. um, so I'm hoping I can kind of give back in a sense and do the same for as many people as I can. Um, but the Small Spec Book Awards is a different avenue, and that is specifically for small press published books because I found so many cool small press publishers that were just putting out amazing stories. Um, I definitely have favorites. Like there's one called $2 Radio in Columbus, Ohio.
Mhm.
And they write, well, I shouldn't say they write, their authors write really, really weird stories, and I just love that.
Yeah.
I love the weird. So, yeah, definitely recommend, The Gloaming by Melanie Finn. And what was the other one? There was one by Hanif, uh, Abdurraqib, I believe. What was it called? It was a collection.
Mhm.
They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us. A collection
Okay.
of nonfiction, stories about music, because he's kind of like a music critic. Anyway, um, I thought, "Oh, I'm gonna hate this." Like, but, I don't even like my husband always makes fun of me because I don't like, musicals. I
Okay.
find them very annoying.
Yeah,
The
same.
exception is Wicked, and I don't mean like the movie, I
Mhm.
mean like the actual play.
Yeah.
The movie was meh. The play, the musical was phenomenal. Um, but that's, like, the only one. I won't watch other ones because I just get bored or I hate it.
Yeah.
Um, so I thought, "Oh, now I'm gonna read all these short stories about music." I loved that book. It was so good.
What's it
Oh
called?
gosh. They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us. He's
They
also a
can't kill
poet,
us
so I
until they
think,
kill us.
his use of language, and I think he does experimental things in there too, if I remember. So that might be fun to read. Um, but anyway, weird stuff. I just like it. And it's good to read outside of, your chosen genre, if you will, because it stretches you
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah.
makes
Because
you
I
think
was
and
always
different.
sci-fi horror
Mhm.
and, like, dystopian, like the wasteland of America, post-apocalyptic books.
Yeah.
I'm just getting into fantasy,
Yay!
the past year, and, actually, I don't mind romance. My
Yeah.
wife gave me 2 romance books last year to read.
Yeah.
I said, she gave me ones that didn't have that much spice in it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to read just about that the entire time.
Yeah, fair.
Give me one with a great story to it, and then it could have that in it. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, she gave me 2 books, and I think I read the first one. I think it was I think there's 5 in the series.
Mhm.
I read the first one in 2 days. Second one in a week. Haven't
Nice.
ended up, I haven't went past the second one though.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I do like some romance. Like, I'm usually, like, anti-romance, but if it's done well, if it's
Yes, yeah.
believable,
Mhm.
it can really enhance a story. Um, but some people don't read for that, right? They just read for the thrill of these 2 people coming together, and
Yeah.
that's cool if that's your thing. I need something more than that, I guess, because in real life, right, love is complicated, and it's not
Yep.
just this shiny, beautiful thing, and there's not fireworks going off, and I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a particular scene in a particular fantasy book, and I'm just like, "What is this?" But, yeah, anyway.
Jason here says he has the floating castle to my TV. Well, Jason, I highly recommend if you can move it up a little faster. Trust me.
Thank you. I'm
You
so happy,
will
thank you.
you will read it fast, but then at the same time you will want to slow it down and just be in the story for a long time.
So, Mark, who was your favorite character?
Uh Besides Elias, he's just very, disliked. Um Probably Valena.
Yeah. Yeah, she's a good one.
Yeah.
It's funny, I ask people that, Like, "Who's your favorite character?" And I get a different answer almost every time.
Has anyone said Elias?
No.
No?
I don't think anyone has, truthfully. I guess my goal was achieved.
Yeah, yeah.
To make him a villain, but yeah, I don't think anyone said Elias.
So who was your favorite character to write?
To write? Hmm, I think Li Ling, actually, because Li Ling is so buried in her prejudices and her biases and she can't see who she truly is.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, and so that was to challenge a little bit for me to make her not self-aware, but to make everybody else aware of what she was and what was going on. So, I kinda liked that challenge a little bit.
Okay.
Um, as far as the character that I like the most just for who they are, probably Emily.
Yeah.
But Emmeline's
Josephine from Fine Reads. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. I have to catch the replay. It sounds like I missed a lot already. Yes, do so. It has been a blast in here, Josephine.
thanks for hopping on.
If you haven't put this on your on the TBR, just got the notification that the stream will end in 20 minutes because
Oh,
Evmux and StreamYard only allows 2 hours at a time. That's why when I mentioned OBS earlier, you can stream as long as you want.
oh,
Like
okay.
I could sit here honestly with you and talk with you for hours.
Me too. I
And
mean, not with
it's
me, but with you. it's funny, that makes me chuckle because I'm thinking about these horror stories that I want to tell, and they keep bothering me while I'm trying to write my fantasy novels, right?
yeah.
I broke down and I wrote summaries for them, and I feel so much better because they were just itching to get out of me. But anyway, it just makes me laugh because it makes me think of a particular character in one of the horror stories talking to themselves. But anyway, I can't say anything more than that because it's probably going to change a gazillion times before I'm ready to tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
Um, and I have to focus on fantasy first. Yeah.
Right, you don't need to apologize.
No. this is this is a relaxed chat.
Yes. Yeah.
I was really looking forward to that aspect, cuz with some interviews you kind of have to be like ready to go and you know, just on your game, and I just knew coming into this like you were just going to make everything just very chill.
Yep. That is the
So,
goal that I want to have when I'm interviewing authors. Just come in here, relax, and just have a great conversation.
as a busy, very busy, tired mom, I appreciate that. So, but yeah, yeah. But I guess I should talk about my other book really quickly. Um Space Collisions. It's a very short book. And the
Yeah.
reason it's so short is because I first submitted this to Ghost City Press. They're a small press in New York, and they it was part of like a series, their uh, summer micro chapbook series. And so this was first published in an ebook form through them.
Okay.
And then I decided to do my own kind of print run because I love the stories in this so much. I kind of wanted it just to stick around, you know? So,
Mm,
but they are short stories. So if you like literary fiction, and the first story is magical realism. Um,
okay.
yes. So if you can imagine like two continents moving towards each other, that's what the first story is about. Like
Oh.
reverse Pangea. But yeah, so and then the other two stories are Flash. So, and they
Yeah.
were all first published in like literary journals and magazines. But you never know when a literary journal is just gonna, be gone. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's why I put this all together. So yeah, so that's what I write. fantasy and yeah, speculative fiction in general, some literary fiction. Um, yeah, that's me.
So this before we head out, this wasn't asked, and I've been eager to know which author inspired you to start writing. I don't know if you had mentioned it earlier or not. I forget.
Really, it's more than one. I mean, there were authors for every stage. But short answer, um, there are some key authors in my life that really mattered to me. Um, I know how everybody feels about Neil Gaiman now, but he was important to me at a time. Margaret Atwood is still
Mhm.
important to me to this day. Um, oh, Toni Morrison. I read everything
Okay.
by Toni Morrison in a college class, and it changed how I looked at story and characters, um, and a lot of other things, to be honest. Um, so those 3 are super important to me. Melanie Finn taught me how to do dangerous things, and make them really interesting,
Okay.
um, and how to be bold and unapologetic.
Yeah.
And then I'm always inspired by the indie writers and the small press writers that I interact with, because they're just creating incredible,
There are
unique
so many
stories.
great ones. Yep. Yep.
Yes, and they're like a lot of them are okay, pretty much everyone I've interacted with, has been really genuinely cool and kind and, like, willing to help other people and just neat people in general, so,
Yeah.
yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but, really quickly before we go, Mark, I wanted to say something. First of all, thank you for having me on the channel,
Of course. Thank you
obviously.
for coming on.
Yeah, it was a blast. I had so much fun. But yeah, thank you for all that you do for authors in general. It really makes a difference, and we all appreciate you so much. Um,
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And
yeah,
like I said,
and I
I do it because I love it, and I want to see everyone have success with their work.
I appreciate that. Yeah, because it's hard out here. Um, but hopefully we'll be doing this for you one day, right? We'll be supporting you, and
Yeah,
so
maybe, maybe.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. But uh, I am doing a 1 day and 1 day only, um, kind of a flash sale, if you will, on the ebook for The Floating Castle. I guess it's not really a sale. I'm going to lower it down to $0,
Oh, you hear
and that's
that?
gonna be on March 8th, International Women's Day.
2 more days, you can get it for $0.
The ebook.
Yeah,
I can't
ebook,
afford to do the
ebook.
print that way.
Yeah.
But if you can't wait until that long, there's always the Smashword sale, which ends on the 7th at the end of day. It's 50% off right now. And then I don't know when I'm ever going to lower the price to free again for the floating castle. So this is a good, if you're watching Mark's channel, you get to know about it. Yeah. So um but yeah, I don't usually like to give my stuff away for free necessarily, at least not my novel, because
Yeah.
I worked so hard on it for years, but I also want more people to pick it up. So I'm doing this one time, um, yeah, ebook sale, if you will. So that's March 8th. Okay. Please leave a review if you read it.
Do you have a date on book 2 yet?
Oh, no.
Or no? I mean,
No.
I'm assuming it's not even close to being done.
My goal was to get the first draft done at the end of May.
Okay.
We'll see if that actually happens. I'm trying really hard, but life. Um,
Yeah. Well,
but
let
I've
me
made a
know.
ton of
I'm sorry, go
progress.
ahead.
Sorry, I've made a ton of progress.
Well, let me know when you have more of an idea of when it's going to be out because I would like to set up a watch party for you with I'll ask other people that I know that have read your book and then we can get on here on the the day of it comes out and have, a fun chat.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
No problem, no
Thank you
problem.
so much. Oh, man. Thank you, Mark. This has been so much fun.
Yes, it has been a blast. The Floating Castle, put it on your TBR, read it. It is amazing. The writing is fabulous. The characters you will fall in love with, except for one person. And just the story itself, it's amazing. So put this on your TBR, but get to it very quickly. All right.
Thank
Put
you.
everything else aside and read the Floating Castle.
Yep, you heard it from Mark. So, it's gotta be true because he only tells the truth.
We're gonna get out of here. Thank you all for joining in, Jason, Rod, everybody else, Josephine from Fine Reads. Thank you all for coming in and hanging, and hope you guys enjoyed the conversation we had tonight. All right, so yeah, take care. Like I always say, stay strong, stay positive, stay focused,
Focused.
and I will see you in the next one.
Bye.